here from Fun Hands-On Learning. Today's video is going to show you some fun activities to do to help preschoolers develop their vocabulary. So I developed many of these activities just kind of out of necessity. For those of you who don't know, I am a homeschool mom to 7 children, and our 5th son has Down syndrome. And so with Down syndrome, they need a lot of help with speech, vocabulary, and being able to express what they want to say. And so I developed these activities specifically in mind for him, but these are going to be fun, exciting activities that you can use with your preschoolers and your little ones as well. You want to say hi? Hi. Hey. Say hi up here. I know you're waving down there. Say bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Okay. Okay, so my hope is for these activities that it will not only help build the children's vocabulary, but it will also help build their speech. And so these activities are great for typical children or special needs children, as you saw. I'm going to use them with I have younger children as well, 2-year-olds and a baby, and so I plan on using them with them as well. Especially my 2-year-old can do some of these activities now too. So if you have a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, or you are a daycare teacher or a preschool teacher, I think you're really going to enjoy these activities. Now, one of the things I wanted to say is that these activities are also going to work on matching, and so it's an important prerequisite to speech and talking is being able to associate words with meaning. And so when we match things, it's going to associate those words. And so if you've done anything with Montessori methods, or what they do with preschoolers or toddlers, you would kind of understand the matching concept that I'm talking about here. But you're going to get to see it in some of these activities that I'm going to show you today. Now, the 3 activities I'm going to show you today, I only have 3 created so far, but I plan on creating a lot more, and I plan on creating them into different categories. So the categories that you're going to see today are things at home and food to eat, but I also plan on working on body parts so that the kids can learn where their eyes and nose and mouth and all of those kind of things. Farm animals, zoo animals, pets, colors, shapes, and transportation. So I'm super excited to do those, and I may even add some more in here if I feel, so inclined. But those are the things that I plan on doing activities for, and I'm super excited to show you these activities. And I think that they're really going to help you with your students expand their communication and help them to really get more verbal and understanding and in their speech with you. So I am excited to show you these, so let's get into it. And friends, all right, so let's get into these activities, and I can show you a few of them and how I'm going to use them. So the first one is called Food to Eat, and this activity uses a book. And so there's going to be different types of activities that I'm going to make. So far, I've only done 2 of the different types, but there's also going to be puzzles, and there's going to be, what's the other one I haven't done yet? I can't remember. But this one is a book, and it's an interactive book. So this is the theme, Food to Eat. And what they do is they're going to read the book, and as they read the book, they have to match the pictures. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. And I'm going to move this over here because that's for the next activity. I provide cards for this activity that match the picture. I provide 2 different types. So for this one, students could match the exact picture. So they would have to find the grapes and put it on their page as they read grapes. Or I provide another picture, so one that doesn't match exactly, but it's still grapes, and they can put that one on there. So depending on your children's skill level, you might want to use exact matches, or you might want to use the approximate match. So I provide 2 different types. So there's an example for the crackers, and here's for the grapes, and here's an example for the crackers. So this one's not an exact match, but it's an approximate match, so that they can still see, oh, that's crackers, and this is crackers. Crackers, it's still the same thing, even though it doesn't look exactly the same. And then here is the real match. Okay, so there are pieces to match with. The other way they can do this is as they're reading the book, you can find pieces of the picture or find objects of the pictures around the house. So that's what I did. I decided to go through my kids' toys, and I had a set of magnets that were food related. And I went through the magnets and I found almost all of the pictures. I think I did find all but one of the pictures in the book as an object. So something really great to think about is if you have toys around the house or if you have magnets around the house that might have the picture, and they can match it that way. So grapes, and they would find the magnet up for the grapes and place it on, whoop, can't even see that, place it on the page just like that. Okay, so what you're going to do is when you're with the kids, the way I would do it is I would say, okay, today we're going to read about food. Eat. We eat with food. And then I might even do the sign for eat, which is to take your fingers and touch your mouth. Eat. We're going to eat. Okay, now remember, you're working with really young children probably at this point, 2-year-olds, and so maybe doing even baby sign language would be kind of a good thing. And especially if you're working with a special needs child, that might be something you might want to do. So we would talk about that. We're going to eat. See the girls eating, eat. And we'd talk about the picture, and then we open and say, these are things we eat. What can we eat? Oh, grapes. We can eat grapes. Can you find some grapes here? Where are grapes? Where are the grapes? And then hopefully they're repeating you as well. They're saying grapes, grapes, or at least an approximation, grr, grr, or something like that. Or they can pick out the grapes and match it up. So grapes, and this is just toy food that I had in my kids' toys. So grapes, and they match it up. Crackers, we eat crackers. Ooh, yum, where are the crackers? And I have a magnet here that they could use to match up the crackers. And these aren't exact matches, these are approximate, so the kids would have to be able to match up, have to know, okay, some crackers are square, some are circled, but this is still crackers. It's a box of crackers. Okay, that's what we're wanting them to do because their vocabulary needs to be able to transfer over into when they see cheese, or they may not see it exactly like this piece of cheese, but they need to know that it's still cheese. Like sometimes cheese looks like this. Cheese, we eat cheese. So if you have objects around your house that might match the book, that'd be awesome. And even if you don't have all of them, if you have a few objects and then you have to use the pictures that come with it for the other ones, that's great too. And I am going to probably have to do that for some of them. Banana, where's the banana? And make sure you, if you have students that really can only choose between a few things, you might want to limit the field of objects that you have laying out. So I have everything laid out here, but you might, if you're working with a child with, special needs, autism, that maybe they're on the spectrum, or like I have my son with Down syndrome, you may only need to give them maybe like 3 choices. Now he would be able to do it with all the choices, but depending on the age of the child and what their needs are, maybe just give them these 3 and just say, okay, where's the banana? Can you find a banana? And then they would match it up. So that's what we're doing. We're working on our vocabulary. Now you can extend these activities. Here's bread, they would match bread. You can extend these activities for kids who are beyond that point into, okay, can we use these words? Can we tell me what do you like to eat with bread? Or if they're a child who's already got quite a bit of a vocabulary, just talk about these foods. Where do we get apples? We get them from a tree. From a tree, we get apples. Apples are red. Can apples be green? Oh yeah, apples can be green and apples can be yellow. So you can extend the vocabulary use. You can even try to have them use the words in a sentence for those kids who are past the level that I'm showing you this at. So anyways, they would match corn and they would match orange, and I'm super excited to do this activity with some of my kids, my 2-year-old and my 3-year-old, and see how they do with these matching up activities. So that's the first activity, is a book, and then at the end I just have each of the pictures with words, and then the teacher can go through and read them all to the child if they prefer. So It also comes with directions, so I print out the directions and then I put them on the bag, and that way I can keep them in there. Okay, so I just showed you an activity that was an interactive book, and I plan on making many more of those interactive books that work on different categories. This activity is an interactive mat, and I plan on making more of these interactive mats, and then I'm also going to make interactive puzzles and interactive cards that work on vocabulary. Okay, so let's get into this activity. This is an interactive mat, and it's a vocabulary mat, and it's actually kind of an activity center of sorts, and it is going to work on things at home. So the direction card kind of looks like this. There are two different versions of how you can play this game. I'm going to show you both versions kind of real quick if I can. There is a spinner, and there are little pieces with pictures, and there are cards. So let's get this set up here and let me show you how it works. Okay, so first thing for our really early learners, or our students that just are at the beginning stages and are working on speech, is to use the cards. So you would turn the cards upside down, and you would, let's see if I can get this picture there. And you would have them flip over a card. Now, you would have them say the word lamp. This is a lamp. Lamp, or even with my kids, I might use light because they're used to us turning on a light. And so I might say, light. This is a light. Can you find the light? And they have to look at their mat here and find the light. And once they find the light, there's two things they could do. They could either take one of their matching cards, and they can cover it up with the matching card, or you can use manipulatives. So here I have some manipulatives, and I just brought these ones out because I thought, well, those of you who might be working with this age range with 2-year-olds, your 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds might be still enjoying those squeezable fruit and veggie, what do they call them? Squeezable food containers where they can squeeze out the food. I know a lot of toddlers like those for snacks. And if you go ahead and keep the lids that come with those, they become great tools for learning activities. And so I just have a whole bin of them here. And so what I would have them do is, instead of matching up with the card, once they found the picture, they could cover it up with a little manipulative. And these are great. Another great one to use for kids at this age will be Play-Doh, especially those kids who have sensory issues and really want to be able to use their hands for tactile purposes. They might enjoy taking a little piece of Play-Doh, rolling it up or squishing it or whatever, and then squishing it on the picture. So lamp, and then they can squish their dough onto the picture to match lamp or to cover it up. So either way you want to do it, one of those, or you know, if you use manipulatives, use a pretty big kind of manipulative. You don't want anything too super small for our little guys. And also another reason why I like the Play-Doh for this age is because it'll stay. And so I tend to not have accidental knockoffs. So for kids this age, 2-year-olds especially, when they cover up a picture and then they go to cover up another picture, the pieces can sometimes get knocked off, and then they're like, it can become a disaster. So it just depends on the child. So I show you both things just to give you an idea of what you want to do. So there are 3 different ways. Again, they could match lamp to cover it up. So I said lamp. I found my picture of a lamp. And another great thing you could do with these is put these up onto a pocket chart. I should have taken my pocket chart out. And you can lay these all out onto the pocket chart and then have them find the lamp and put it on their mat. But either way, or you could just lay them out on the side. But make sure they're not all piled up like this. Especially if you're working with a 2-year-old, you want to have, maybe just give them 3 pictures like this. And then, you know, they flipped over the card, lamp, that's a lamp. Can you find the lamp on your mat? There's the lamp. Let's cover it up. Lamp. Okay? So you do like that. Or, like I said, you could use your little manipulatives here that we have, whatever item you want to use to cover up like that, or have them use their Play-Doh and stick it. And I really kind of like that option because the Play-Doh doesn't accidentally get knocked, you know, off of the mat. And so by the end, they're gonna see everything covered up. All right, so that's one version of how you play this game. Let me just show you again. So they would, when they're done with lamp, they would put the card underneath, or you could help them do that. And okay, we're gonna flip. And if you're working with speech, you want to say the word over and over again. Flip, good, flip the card. What's on this card? And notice my voice and my intonation. I'm being very, very excited, okay? Even though this isn't the most exciting thing ever. Okay, so what's on this card? Oh, a bath. Now, I wanted to stop right there because I wanted to show you this really cool little house here that I have. This is just a little toy. And if you have little girls, you might have a dollhouse. And so you could go find some of these objects that are on this mat here in the little dollhouse and use those as manipulatives for this little activity. I have only boys. I have 7 boys. I'm the mom of 7 boys. And so we don't have any dollhouses. However, I do have this. This is from a little play set from Lakeshore Learning. It has a house, it has a barn, it has a little lunchbox with food, and then I forget what the other one is. There's 4 of them. So this is one of them, and I pulled it out because in here there are little objects. So if we flip over a card that's bath, hey, guess what? Can we find the bath in the house? And so I have them open up the house. Can we find the bath? Where's the bath? Oh, there's a bath. Oh, I just love to take a bath with bubbles. Bubbles. You put bubbles in your bath? Those are 2 great words to work on the B sound. Bath. And so, anyways, we can work on that. We can find our bath, and then we can go, okay, now let's find bath on our mat. Where's bath? There's bath. Let's cover it up. Get your Play-Doh out. Cover up bath. Push. All right, now I'm talking to you just like I would talk to them, and the reason I'm talking like that is just to help maximize a few of those words that we really want the kids to understand. We want them to maybe start saying puh for push. If they're already speaking, then just learning to associate those words is another great thing. So you still want to simplify your speech for the children so that they're associating. Okay, so we covered up bath. Now, last but not least, I know you guys saw when I opened up the activity is that I had this spinner here. Now, this is for more advanced students. So instead of flipping over a card, like I have here, they would spin the spinner. All right, so the way I use these spinners is I buy packs of spinners like this. They're game board spinners from Amazon. Okay, so I get these spinners from Amazon, and you can just attach them to the game with tape or glue or however you want to do it. I usually just use tape because then I can just take it off really easily and use it with another activity later on. But what they would do is they would spin their spinner. I don't have it attached right now, so it's going to move on me. But they would spin their spinner, whatever it lands on. So it landed on toy. So you're going to say, toy, what is that? Oh, what did it land on? What is that? Oh, a toy. So this is for a child that already can, their speech is pretty good, and they already can tell you what these objects are. So that's a toy. All right, let's look on our map. Where's the toy? Cover up toy. Oh, very good, toy. And they're gonna, they're gonna cover up toy. Now, another thing you could do for kids who are already really good speakers is you can move this kind of an activity, vocabulary activity, into even a reading activity. Okay, so toy, toy. What sound do you hear in toy at the beginning of toy? What do you hear? Oh, you hear T. And then you could even take out your magnetic letters and have them put a T on a toy. Oh yes, we hear toy, we hear T. And they could put a T there. And then when you get to blanket, they could put a B. When you get to bed, they could put a B. And when you get to table, they could put another T. And then you could say, look, toy and table both start with T. Toy, table, T. B. Oh boy. And so they'll have 2 magnetic letters on their mat, obviously for those. They'll have a B on blanket and book and bed. Blanket, book, bed. And then you can also kind of talk about, we see all of these things. Where do we see all these things? We see them at home. We see them in our house. We see them at home. Oh boy, do you have a book at home? You know, and if you're working with your own children like I am. And then of course we can talk about the things. Oh yes, you know, when we go night-night, you always get your blankie, and then maybe even they'll want to go get their blankie, and they can associate that with their blankie that's on their bed. So that's how I would use these activities. And then the last activity that I have created already is also for the things at home, and it is another one of those interactive books like I showed you for the food. So it's the same exact thing. It's an interactive book for things at home. So you can read through the book, and then they can match the pictures. Again, I provide 2 different types of pictures for matching. So I provide the exact match. So here's an example for table. Here's the not exact match. So here is the approximate match. So they could match that one up, and they'd be able to realize that both of those are a table. Or for our little learners who aren't quite there yet, they can match the exact picture. So there's the exact match of table and table. I provide those. And then again, if you can go around your house or whatever and find objects, then when they get to it, like bath, okay, we're going to match the bath, and they can actually use the objects. Or I think I have couch in here. I know I have bed. Okay, there's bed. They can match the bed. So if you have a little dollhouse, that would be perfect for matching up. Oh yeah, I do have a couch in here. So where was couch? There it is. So they can match couch to couch. Look at that, couch. Or really it's a chair, but kind of same difference there. So, oh, and here I have, and the other one in here is table. So we can match table. Table, and look, we eat on a table. Okay, so these are just great for building vocabulary, for building speech. You can even use them for talking about beginning sounds and alphabet letters. If you're working with those kids who are a little bit more advanced than, say, an early 2-year-old or, you know, my 3-year-old special needs. So I'm going to be using these with my 2-year-old and my 3-year-old. If you are interested in getting these, I'm going to leave the link below in the description box so you can get them now. If you jump on it now, you'll get them at a much discounted rate. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.